Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
A movie called Crossover. It's a basketball movie, but I think it's the top 3 worst basketball movies I've ever watched in my life.
Anthony Mackie,
yes.
Wayne Brady.
Yes, and hot sauce. Hot sauce.
Oh my God.
Did you ever consider that I'm about to watch a movie where one of the actors is hot sauce and think this is probably not the best idea?
The Chris Vernon Show, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
I think we have the college basketball title futures. UConn's #1.
I really like Houston. I'd have them winning it all, but you can't be giving Drake jerseys. What is wrong with you?
Maybe the Drake curse is stronger in college basketball.
How long has he been riding with Kentucky?
He wore an Alabama jersey and Saban retired.
The Odds Couple with Rob Fisher, Lang Whitaker, John Roser, and CJ Hurt, live Thursdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right. I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from outside the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope before you laid 7.5 points last night with your Summer Grizz that you got a hold of an injury report if any such thing existed, because if you turned it on, you realized pretty quickly Zach Edey did not play. He's got a sore ankle. We've all been there. Grizzlies took a tough loss to the Summer Thunder. Now they're on the way to Las Vegas. We'll talk summer basketball in just a second. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, in about 20 minutes, Damichael Cole is going to join me. He covers the Grizzlies for the Commercial Appeal. I'll talk all things Grizzlies with him. Damichael Cole, Memphis Grizzlies Beat Writer for the CA. He's going to join me in the next segment. When I finish talking to Damichael, I'll take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories, among them Tiger basketball legend Joey Dorsey, now working in the NBA, player development coach for the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's awesome. I'll tell you more about it in about 40 minutes. Caitlin Clark had a pretty ridiculous box score in Wednesday's loss to the Mystics. I'll run you through that one. We'll do it in just a bit. Former President Barack Obama met with Team USA out in Las Vegas on Wednesday. The video was hilarious. We'll show it to you in just a bit. Greg Berhalter, as predicted, is out as leader of U.S. soccer. It's about time, as far as I'm concerned. I'd had enough. I think we're all ready to move on from this loser. Wouldn't stop losing. That's not good. You're a coach.
No, he couldn't.
We will discuss in great detail the future of American soccer. We'll do that a little later on in the show. And the official cause of death of Little League legend Sean Burroughs was released on Wednesday. Sad stuff. I'll tell you what the report said. We'll do that during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's carry out, and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to. But I did want to start with the Summer Grizz, because the Summer Grizz played their 3rd game in 3 nights in Salt Lake City last night. Final score, Summer Thunder, boo, 80. Summer Grizz, 77. As mentioned, Zach Edey did not play. Ankle soreness is the explanation. Team says they're just being careful with the two-time National Player of the Year. Big Bet Bennett, when you see Zach Edey in street clothes, do you get PTSD from everything we dealt with over the last season, or no big deal, whatever? He's got an ankle. Sometimes people hurt ankles. Why wouldn't you be careful with the man who is now, oh, by the way, the favorite to be the 2024-25 NBA Rookie of the Year?
So in this specific situation, I'm not worried at all, because when the report came out yesterday, literally everyone that puts out Grizzlies reports was like, and I want to emphasize, the Grizzlies say this is a minor injury. And so honestly, dude, I think that this is more of, no offense to the Utah Summer League, the big Summer League is coming up in Vegas, and I think that they want to make sure that all the guys that they have as a part of this roster are going to be ready to go for Vegas. So I think they're just being overly cautious.
Why would we prioritize the little bitty Salt Lake Summer League over the
no
Vegas
offense.
Summer League?
I hear Salt Lake is a beautiful place. I hear Salt Lake City's amazing, and I respect and cherish the Utah Summer League. Don't get it twisted. I'm just saying, we got to be extra careful here, because we want to show out in Vegas.
Salt Lake is an amazing place. I've been there many times.
Yeah.
People are very kind, like unusually kind.
Well, they were calling Gigi Jackson overrated last night.
Yeah, I must not have met those people.
Yeah.
That nobody, like I just remember this weird experience. I fly into Salt Lake City. I've been there many times. This only happened once, but I'm getting a rental car. Let's call it Avis, okay? And there's a nice young woman, and she's working behind the counter, and she's like, she's doing all the things you're supposed to do when you're renting somebody a car. And then at some point she goes, okay, Mr. Parrish, your car is, I'm making things up here, in spot S27. I said, okay, thank you. And she hands me the keys, and then she just starts walking with me. And I don't know what to do. I don't want to be rude, so I'm just like, what? I'm like, oh, well, I appreciate all your help. I figure that's the thing I'm supposed to say next. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, yeah, Mr. Parrish, I'm just happy to help you. And she's just walking with me the whole time. She walks me all the way to my car. She says, can I put listen, I used to rent cars all the time. I don't really do it so much anymore. But, like, this had never happened before. She was, like, just wanting to make sure I was okay. And she was like, well, do you need help putting your luggage into the car? I was like, no, I got it. I've been carrying this all day. I can get it from here. It was so weird that I like sat there I was like questioning, all right, what just happened? What just happened? Where was she trying to take this thing? And the truth is, she was just being nice. But that's my Salt Lake City experience. When you say Salt Lake City is a fine place, that's the first story that pops into my head. Those people were kind. They were trying to do everything they could with me in my rental car.
Good.
So I respect them. I appreciate them. But if we're just trying to be honest here, why would we prioritize their little Salt Lake City Summer League, 3 games and 3 nights, blah, 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 over the Las Vegas Summer League? This is the big one. This is the one we're trying to hang a banner with.
It's definitely one we're trying to hang a banner with. I believe, I could be wrong. Could we be the only multi-time Las Vegas Summer League champions?
Bennett, I'm gonna have to Google search that.
I'll have to look that up, but I wonder if that's a potential thing, a potential development here, that we could be going the only 2-time Vegas Summer League champion.
I'm gonna have to get research on that. I'm gonna have to get the research department on that. I'm not sure.
I'll look into it. I just wanted to throw it out there.
Whatever it takes to get you fired up is fine with me. The Vegas Summer League, we're just one day away from getting started. That's going to be tomorrow, 5 o'clock Central Time. It's going to be the Summer Kings and the Summer Grizz at Cox Pavilion out in Las Vegas. Back to last night, Zach Edey didn't play. I'm with you. No big deal. He's got an ankle. Like Jason March said, he turned it. We saw him turn it. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but he is sore, and we're not going to, push him through anything he doesn't need to be pushed through,
right.
Particularly after he had an incredibly encouraging performance in Game 1. And as we realized yesterday, after that Game 1 performance, the odds updated for Rookie of the Year. They were already moving in his direction, but at some point yesterday, they actually moved in his favor. Zach Edey is now in the betting markets the favorite to be the 2024-25 NBA Rookie of the Year. Here's a question for you. Does that change your expectations at all for this season? It's like, because I saw SportsCenter, like the SportsCenter Instagram account tweeted this. Like the Grizzlies could, in their starting lineup on opening night, have 2 former defensive players of the year in Jaren Jackson and Marcus Smart, plus, the 2-time National Player of the Year, Zach Edey. Now, that was true even last week. They could have sent that tweet a week ago. They could have sent it 2 seconds after the Grizzlies selected Zach Edey with the 9th pick in the 2024 NBA draft, but they didn't. They decided to send it after Zach Edey had a 14-point, 15-rebound, 4-block performance in his first game as a professional. It clearly changed the way SportsCenter's Instagram account, at the very least, is thinking about the Memphis Grizzlies. Does it change the way you think about the Memphis Grizzlies?
Not really. I mean, in my opinion, what happened there is obviously he had the big opener and it was like, whoa, this dude looks awesome. And then I think you just look at like the opportunity he's going to have compared to other rookies. I mean, he's probably your day one starting center on a team that is expected to be really good. I think he's going to have a lot of opportunity to put up big numbers immediately in his rookie season. I think that's probably why it moved so quickly. I am surprised he's the favorite, honestly, as the 9th overall pick, but it makes a little sense.
Well, I think it makes a lot of sense. He's going to be playing for a team that should be, theoretically, if healthy, a contender in the West. I mean, this is a franchise that finished second in the Western Conference standings 2 of the previous 3 years, and the only year where that wasn't true was the year in which Ja Morant missed the first 25 games, and then a whole bunch more because of an injury, plus Jaren Jackson injury, Desmond Bane injury, Marcus Smart injury. You know the story of the 2023-24 Grizzlies season. So he's going to be playing for a relevant team. He's going to be starting for a relevant team, and that will just keep him on people's radar more than, say, if you were spending next season playing in, say, Washington or Detroit. But, Alex Sarr in Washington is going to at least, I don't know, in theory, be more of an offensive option from day one than, say, Zach Edey is in Memphis, just because Zach Edey is going to be playing with Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Desmond Bane. And, Alex Sarr isn't going to be playing with anybody at that level. So, I could cut it a few different ways. Like, I think there's probably a scenario where other rookies have a better chance to have better stats as a first-year player. But, I mean, we saw it the other night. He looked comfortable. That was the most important thing of anything that happened on Monday night. It's not the points. It's not the rebounds. It's not the way he set screens. He's been setting screens like that in college for 4 years on a very big platform each of the past 2. The questions about him were, how is he going to look on an NBA court with NBA athletes moving up and down? And he looked fine. He looked comfortable. He did not look awkward. Any of the things the skeptics were skeptical about, it didn't really show up in any sort of glaring way in game 1. And I think after you see that, I don't know that you have to take a Grizzlies win projected total and improve it by 7 games or anything like that. But you watch Zach Edey look comfortable on a professional basketball court in his first time on a professional basketball court. And it seems obvious to me why, if you were a Grizzlies fan, you'd be a little more excited than you were, say, this time a week ago. This time a week ago, people were still wondering, what is it going to look like? Well, we got the chance to see what it's going to look like, and it looked pretty good in game 1. Meantime, last night, even though Zach Edey did not play, Gigi Jackson did return to the court after missing the second game in a back-to-back-to-back situation. He was better, more efficient, took 14 shots, made 7 of them, 18.7 rebounds in 33 minutes. He was 3 of 7 from 3. Trey Jemison led all Grizz scores. He got 20 points in 25 minutes, took 12 shots, made 9 of them. Grizzlies only used 8 players last night. DJ Jeffries did get 9 minutes, 2 points, 2 turns. He was 1 of 4 from the field. And like I said earlier, next up, Vegas Summer League. That's tomorrow at 5 o'clock. 4:30 pregame, I believe. Grind City Media app. Tip off a little after 5 o'clock. Grizz Kings inside the Pavilion in Las Vegas. And I was looking at the ESPN scoreboard earlier today, and it just called it the Pavilion. Didn't call it Cox Pavilion. Bennett, have you checked? Hang on. Let me go. Is Cox Pavilion still Cox Pavilion?
I got these scores pulled up here. Let's see.
I don't know if I could lose Staples Center.
No, you've lost it. It is the Pavilion, bro.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it is the Pavilion.
I knew
Cox is gone. Cox is out, bro.
I knew once they took Staples Center from us, it was the beginning of the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew once they tried to call Staples Center Crypto.com, it was just a matter of time before we lost Cox Pavilion as well. Why did we lose Cox Pavilion?
No idea, especially with everything going on in Vegas. You would just think we'd get those naming rights figured out before this massive summer league coming up. Let's just rename it the Zach Edey Pavilion.
Name it the Zach Edey Pavilion.
Yeah.
What did Cox even do, Bennett? Do you even know?
What did Cox do? I'm gonna say Cox was a screen printing business.
I don't think screen printing businesses can sponsor NBA arenas, Bennett.
I mean, if it's a big enough brand.
I think most screen printing businesses are run out of people's garages. Okay.
Okay, no. I'm gonna
like
say
everybody I know who has a
on.
screen printing business, it's in their garage.
I'm gonna say Cox is a computer software manufacturing company.
I think you're more on the right track.
Okay.
I want to say, can I submit a guess? Do you mind if I play?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's a cable distributor.
Cable distributor.
And the reason is because I think
West Coast is Spectrum, bro.
Cox?
I think West Coast is Spectrum.
I'm telling you, every time I go to sign into something like Hulu or Max, and it says choose your provider, and I have to choose DirecTV because I'm a loyal customer, even though they're charging me like $7,000 a month. I mean, if I ever wanted to buckle down and get serious about my life, I would have to start with DirecTV.
Oh my goodness, it is not. I'm with a different company, but just in general, I totally understand. Like I am paying way more than I should be. And I could fix it. I'm like you. I could fix it, but I just choose not to.
Oh man, if you ever hear about me going through tough times, like point the finger at DirecTV. They've been getting me for decades. At this point, yeah. I mean, I'm not even joking. I pay so much money for DirecTV.
You're right, by the way.
It's outrageous.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is a cable company.
And so here's my point. Every time I see DirecTV, I don't know how much you know about the alphabet. You familiar with the alphabet?
A little bit.
You know what's close to the D?
The C.
I mean, and the E.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the C. That's what I was going for.
Yeah.
And you know what starts with C?
Cox.
And yeah. I see it. I see Cox.
I
go to sign into Hulu.
Selection, yeah.
I'm trying to watch season 3 of The Bear. They say you got to sign in through your provider. I go to DirecTV, but right there by that D, I see a C. That C is Cox.
I got to scroll all the way down. I got to scroll all the way through those. Mine's at the bottom. Xfinity.
Oh man, that's tough. That's a lot of scrolling.
It's a lot of scrolling, but I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, no. You ever scroll? And I know this is probably fair, but still, I get a little bothered by it because it seems like. I don't know. It just seems like the wrong way to do it. You ever be scrolling and they want to ask you where you live, like your country, and we have to go all the way down to the U's for United States?
Yeah.
Don't you think we should just put the U at the top, like just because most of us? I mean, maybe this is me being, maybe I'm being a little.
No, it is. This
is me being a little bit of a nationalist.
It's a little elitist. Yep.
It's a little elitist. Like I know Argentina feels like it belongs up there in Algeria, but I don't feel like I should have to scroll through Algeria and Argentina to get to the United States. Can't we just put the United States right there at the top, like a.
It would make my life easier. I mean, I've probably wasted, countless hours of my life scrolling all the way to the bottom to find the United States. So I get it, but it's fine. It's fine.
Does it lend credence? And we'll get to Damichael Cole after we finish discussing this very serious stuff. Does it lend credence to the theory that we should have perhaps named our country something different? Maybe something that starts with an A or a B, so we wouldn't be scrolling so much. You got millions of Americans out there scrolling all the way to the U's nonstop. I mean, I don't know why we couldn't have named our. Probably just should have named the country something different. Starts with an A or at least a B. What do you think about that?
Yeah, because we can't just do America. That would be wrong, considering there's other American.
I know, but that does sound like something we would do. It does
sound like something we would do. It does sound like something we would do.
We would just take ownership of America.
I could see someone like running on that platform of we scrolled too long to the bottom. Now we need to be right up at the top. First selection.
Well, I mean, the saying goes, nobody says make the United States great again. That's not how it goes. What do they say?
That's true. They say the exact opposite, in fact.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Damichael Cole's up next.
Mike did his favorite black films of all time. Mike, where we at?
If there's one movie I know every single line to, it is Coming to America.
There we go.
It is Coming to America. It can come on any time of any day, and I'm going to stop and watch at least 20 minutes of it.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
LifeCare Ambulance is proud to be an official partner of the Memphis Grizzlies and FedEx Forum. At LifeCare, they wear their hearts with pride. Their passion is their people. They want you to love what you do and where you do it. Their employee-driven culture encourages a healthy work-life balance and supportive work environment. They invest in your success and well-being so that you can provide the best care for the patients that they serve. Join the incredible team of EMTs and paramedics in Memphis, Nashville, and across the nation today. Learn more at lifecareamb.com. Hey Grizzlies fans, turn your stadium excitement into betting action at Southland Casino Hotel. As a proud sponsor of the Memphis Grizzlies, Southland brings you more gaming action than ever before. Step onto our massive casino floor stretching more than 2.5 football fields. Slot enthusiasts can enjoy more than 2,300 machines from penny slots to high limits and play the hottest games like Aristocrat, Dollar Storm, Cloverlink, and Lightning Cash. Table game aficionados can feel the thrill of the felt with 50 live table games. From 3-card to blackjack match, we're ready to deal you in. Plus, don't miss stadium gaming for an interactive digital experience. And for high rollers, our high limit room is calling your name. Go big on 6 high limit blackjack tables or spin one of our 54 high stakes slot machines. Throw in 8 delicious dining options and a 300-room high-rise hotel, and there's plenty to keep you going. At Southland Casino Hotel, the gaming excitement never stops.
Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Do you know what LARPing is? The official definition of it is the activity of participating in live action role-playing games.
Just to be clear, adults do this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some adults sit and wait for ESPN's free agency show to start right on the dot of the beginning of the free agency season.
Somehow that makes more sense to me.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Some people are already saying these are sneaker of the year. This is the Nina Chanel Abney 3, her second collab with Jordan.
So the tag has like the regular Air Jordan, and then when you flip it, it's like the Jordan logo that Sherman was talking about.
Oh,
and that's like
okay.
what like her art is like very like contemporary and like the straight lines and like that's so cool. The Sneak Fest Show live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. Damichael Cole covers the Memphis Grizzlies for the Commercial Appeal online, commercialappeal.com. Nice enough to join me right in the middle of Summer League. Damichael Cole is GP. How you doing on this Thursday morning?
GP, how we doing, man? How you doing?
Everything's good in my world. I appreciate you being here. Before I ask you about Zach Edey's ankle, I want to ask you about Zach Edey's professional debut. It became Monday night, Salt Lake Summer League. 14 points, 15 rebounds, 4 blocks. He catapulted himself to the leading candidate in the betting markets to be the NBA Rookie of the Year. What'd you make from what you saw from the 2-time National Player of the Year a couple of nights ago?
It was positive. It was enough for me. I think what we saw was a player who is going to be able to have an immediate impact in Memphis. Sure, it was one Summer League game. You don't want to be able to take too much. But the thing is, with the Grizzlies in the center position, they don't need anyone who's going to come in and be, prime Joel Embiid, prime Jokic, or anything like that. You need someone's going to be physical, who's going to be a solid rebounder, screen setter, and who's going to be able to protect the rim. And we saw him do all of those things, not even at a just good level, at a great level. He had 4 blocks. He altered more shots than that. The screens that he set for Scottie Pippen Jr. in particular led to the point guard having a really big night. And one can only imagine, what is it going to look like when that's John Morant, being able to clear that much space up for him and allowing him to kind of orchestrate things in that mid-range area maybe. And then there was, the rebounding, 4 offensive boards as well. We talked about how throughout the Taylor Jenkins era, rebounding has always been something that the Grizzlies have been dominant at. That was always the case until January 2023. Steven Adams went down. They went from the premier offensive rebounding team to a mediocre bunch. But Zach Edey in that first game, he showed all the things that the Grizzlies have needed from a big man since January 2023. All the things they've been missing.
Obviously, the box score is impressive. Like, if you didn't watch a minute of it and you just, click on it the next morning, you go, oh, wow, he played, But to me, it was the eyeball thing really mattered. He never looked uncomfortable. He never looked awkward. All of the things, or at least some of the things that skeptics were skeptical about, the way he would move his feet, the way he would move in space, the way he would handle being put into ball screens. I'm not sitting here suggesting he's going to be a first-team all-defense guy someday, but he didn't look out of place relative to what you expect from bigs to look like in a professional basketball game, and that was encouraging for me. Did you see the same thing?
I did, but the other thing is, I don't think that he's going to. These guys in summer league aren't the ones who are equipped, for the most part, to be the ones to expose him, defensively. They're learning the NBA spacing and things as well as he is. It's going to be, when he gets into those games against the Dallas Mavericks and they're spreading the floor with four guys pretty much beyond the three-point line and Derek Lively, or they're going five out with Maxi Kleber or something like that, or you're playing the Boston Celtics and they're going five out. It's going to be those type of teams, and the Clippers or whatever. That's when the real premier test on how he handles that will come. I expect him to flourish defensively against these teams, and that's pretty much going to be the case for him. I think defensively, yeah, you're right. He showed me enough. And GP, I'm willing to even take it a step further. I know people aren't going to want to hear this because there's an entertainment element to all of this, but based off what we saw in that first game against Walker Kessler, a guy who played for Team USA's FIBA team last year, a guy who started a lot of NBA games, who has the second most blocks in the NBA per game over the last 2 seasons. Based off what we saw from Edey against Walker Kessler, I don't have to see anything else from him in summer league. I mean, it'd be fun, right, to see him play with the guys and all that. But the player that we've seen, the physicality, all that, like you said, he didn't look out of place. He looked like one of those older summer league guys where you say, oh, yeah, he might be too good for these dudes.
Grizz Summer League coach Jason March said last night that he doesn't know if he will play again in Summer League. You can't predict that. But he did say, I think that we'll see him again. Obviously, there's two factors here. One is the ankle. The other is we've seen it. We don't need to see much more. Do you expect to see Zach Edey play again in Las Vegas?
I do.
Okay.
I do think we'll see him again. I think there's a competitive standpoint to this as well. You got Scottie Pippen Jr., you got Zach Edey, you got Jake LaRavia out there, as well as the rookies Cam Spencer, Jalen Wells, Trey Jemison, Deke Giroux, all these guys who have experience with the Grizzlies or who will be getting experience with the Grizzlies this upcoming season. I think there's a competitive part to this. Like, let's see if we can really win this thing. But of course, the Grizzlies have always, operated on the side of caution. We've seen at times, whether it was Desmond Bane a couple years ago at Summer League, where he just was too good. And we're like, all right, go sit him down. We don't need to see anything else. If Zach Edey puts up another 15-15 and 4 or 5 block game, they might just say, you know what? There's nothing else to learn here. Let's just get him adjusted against better competition or whatever the case may be. But I do think we'll see him again. I don't know how much we'll see him after that.
The opening night performance from Zach, like I mentioned, catapulted him to the leader in the betting markets to be NBA Rookie of the Year. So it clearly has changed the way people think about Zach Edey. Has it changed the way you think about the Grizzlies next season? Are the expectations higher now than they would have been, say, a week ago, just because we've seen the guy who looks like he's going to be the Grizzlies starting center performing in an encouraging way?
A little bit, not too much. And with that being said, I've always been probably a little bit higher on the Grizzlies than some. I do think they are a top 5 seed next year. The whole play-in talk, I don't think it applies to the Grizzlies because what we saw this past season and really the year before that as well, what we saw play out is the West is so compact and tight. And one of the biggest separators, along with health, of course, one of the biggest separators is continuity. And the two big examples of that, in my opinion, are the Dallas Mavericks, who 2 seasons ago didn't even make the postseason after acquiring Kyrie Irving because the Kyrie and Luka thing just didn't look like it was a long-term fit. And they end up going to the finals this year. And the other example is the Minnesota Timberwolves, who were a first-round exit, the last season. And there were talks about splitting up Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns, and this pairing is not going to work. And next thing you know, they're going to the Western Conference Finals. So the 2 teams in the Western Conference Finals this past season are the perfect example of why continuity matters. The Grizzlies already have continuity. The starting lineup, for the most part, Ja, Des, Jaren have played, hundreds of games together. I think that matters. Now with the Zach Edey factor, it gives them the word that we've heard a lot is optionality. When you're playing, the Rudy Goberts, the Montes Sabonis, Zubac, all these guys destroyed the Grizzlies on the glass last season. They were playing volleyball at the net against the Grizzlies. But now you have a guy like Zach Edey where you can say, okay, this is a guy who can, in those physical matchups against those bigger centers, who can hold his own. And then when you go against those teams like the Clippers, who may take Zubac out down the stretch of the game and go 5 out, or the Celtics might try to go small ball, you say, okay, let's bring in Brandon Clark. You have that optionality. So yes, the short answer is I do think that it makes them slightly better in terms of the eyes of everyone. But I think all along they've been in that top 4, top 5 range.
Early in the WNBA season, Caitlin Clark would get fouled hard, and no Indiana Fever players would come over and do anything about it. And that became a real talking point, as it pertained to that league. In night one of Summer League, Jake LaRavia, who is not Caitlin Clark, got fouled kind of hard, and Zach Edey, bumped Bryce Sensabaugh and let him know, hey, I'm here. We're not going to do that. A lot of Grizzlies fans latched onto that. Did that moment mean anything to you?
Oh yeah. That was Steven Adams. Yeah. Dudes weren't going to play with Steven Adams. Steven Adams comes around and there's a little huddle going on. The huddle's about to break up. So they haven't had that guy, as of late. And it's not even just him being that guy. It's how the team receives it. I know Desmond Bane loves that stuff. Yeah. Ja Morant loves that stuff. Ja Morant, one of the first conversations I had with Ja Morant about Vince Williams this past season was about, it was right when Ja was getting back. And he was talking about Vince Williams, because at that point he just watched the first few games that Vince Williams was getting a lot of playing time. He was like, that's my type of guy. I'm going to be right behind him when he's talking trash, when he's getting in guys' faces. I'm going to be right there with him every step of the way. And you used to see that with Ja and Steven Adams. When Steven Adams, used to get, in some stuff, Ja Morant's right behind him and vice versa. So, it's different when the leaders on the team kind of latch onto it instead of saying hey man, we don't need that from you right now. No, they want that stuff. If you're gonna mess with one of our guys, even if it's like you said, it's Jake LaRavia, we're gonna let you know about it. So that was good to see because he's already showing that. We've seen over the course of Grizzlies history, that's what Memphis has been. That's part of that grit and grind mentality. That was Zebo. That was TA. So that's Steven Adams and so forth.
Obviously, Ja Morant is the franchise point guard. Desmond Bane can play on the ball. Marcus Smart can play on the ball. But Scottie Pippen Jr. is playing on the ball for the Summer Grizz and has played well so far. What kind of role do you expect, in a limited way because he's a two-way player, but what kind of role do you expect Scottie Pippen Jr. to have this upcoming season?
You probably know, but I like that guy. I really it's just something about a point guard who can come in the game, play 15 minutes, and automatically give you energy. And that's what you see with him. When he's Summer League, granted, you're able to play a little more aggressively, defensively, and stuff like that because of the fouls and whatnot. But it's the same way when you're coming off the bench. So, seeing him pick up Keontae George 3/4 court consistently, possession after possession after possession, causing turnovers, just messing up the Jazz, offense. And that's something he's been doing. In addition to what the smoothness that he plays on the offensive end, he's more scorer than Tyus Jones was. But the way that he operates around the floor looks kind of like Tyus Jones, just from the smoothness, the way he gets to his spots and whatnot. his role for this upcoming season with the Grizzlies. I think it's a simple one. I've seen people say, hey, look, he should be, put on a 15-man roster and things like that. I would kind of caution those people to remember that you're in the perfect situation with Scottie Pippen Jr. from the standpoint of we see it more in baseball. You can kind of do some what we call in baseball like some service time manipulation, some contract manipulation here, where he can stay on a two-way contract and he can be active for up to 50 games this upcoming season on that two-way deal. We saw it with Gigi Jackson. We saw it with Vince Williams. It played out. We saw the negative side of it played out with Jacob Gilliard. When he reached 50, active games, they had to let him go. You don't have to make a decision right now on putting this guy on a 15-man roster. Do I think he deserves a spot on the 15-man roster? Oh, for sure. This is the future backup point guard for the Grizzlies, in my opinion. So I think that right now you let him play, and maybe Derrick Rose gets the first crack because it's Derrick Rose, and I think he actually played well when he was on the floor last season, even though there just wasn't a lot of, he only played in 4 or 5 game spurts before injuries happened. So I think if, an injury were to happen to Derrick Rose or he needed a couple games off, you're fine with the idea of Scottie Pippen Jr. playing backup point guard. And then when it gets to that point later in the season, when he's reached the 50-game mark, then you look at the rest of the roster. Is there someone else we could trade? Is there someone we could potentially waive? Is there another decision that we could make to put him on that 15-man roster? Because I think by February of the upcoming season, we're going to be having that conversation.
Wrapping up here with Damichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal. Last thing before I let you go, what can you tell me about the Luke Kennard situation?
I think right now the easy explanation is the best news is no news. I mean, no news is good news. Same thing. But right now, I think all signs, everyone's still confident that he's still going to end up in Memphis. That's still the plan. So I think right now it's just, it's working out the kinks of it, right? It's if the Grizzlies, we know they have 14 roster spots of the 15-man on the 15-man roster occupied. So you need one more spot, and Luke Kennard's probably going to get that spot. But what if you want another, backup big, or again the Scottie Pippen Jr.'s of the world? Like, what if they say, we don't want to wait, we want to go ahead and put him on the 15-man roster now, whatever the case may be. That's all of that is probably being factored in, as well as the first apron stuff. I think right now, if he makes anything north of about $12 million a year, that's first apron money. Like 14.8 was going to put you into the first apron, but anything north of $12 million a year. I think the Buddy Hield contract looks like he got around $9.5, $10 million a year. That's probably a rough framework for what a Luke Kennard deal could look like. I know I've thrown out there maybe 222, 333, but maybe the Grizzlies could say, hey, we could give you 3 for 27, and that would put them right below the first apron. Wouldn't have room to do anything else, but that's when those other moves come into play. We're talking about movement at the bottom of the roster. You have a couple guys, like a Zaire Williams, like a John Conchar, potentially making $6 million a year, and we don't know exactly what their role looks like for this upcoming season. So I think the Luke Kennard situation is still, people still should be at ease. I think it'll get worked out at some point soon here.
That is Damichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal. You can read all his work, commercialappeal.com. He's on X at Damichael C. That's at Damichael C. You're always awesome. I appreciate your time, baby. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate you too, Gary P. Take care.
All right. That's Damichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal. You can read his work, commercialappeal.com. We come back. Great news from Daily Memphian last night. Joey Dorsey back in the NBA, player development coach, former Tiger. He's now with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'll walk you through that story next. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
Shall we talk about our favorite NBA Finals MVPs? Number 3 is a little bit of Canadian history because it's the first and only NBA championship that the country as a whole has. I'm going to go with Kawhi Leonard's second Finals MVP. I still get my little heart warm even thinking about it, and I was there watching every game. IMHO with Lang Whitaker and me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
If you look at it, as far as the the number 9 pick over the years. There's been some pretty good players that have surfaced at number 9. Of course, Dirk Nowitzki, who won a championship. There's been a lot of great guys, but who knows if there is a great guy in this draft.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz Beat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's her name? Susie, the one with the
Miss
steamboat.
Susie had a steamboat. The steamboat had a bell. Ding, ding. Miss Susie went to heaven. The steamboat went to hello, operator. Please give me number 9. And if you disconnect me, I'll kick you from behind the refrigerator.
There was a piece of glass. Miss Susie sat upon it and broke her little.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
So if I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
Maxwell in concert. The Serenade Tour. October 16th at FedEx Forum. Maxwell. With special guest Jasmine Sullivan. And October London. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Maxwell Live.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's OrthoSouth at orthosouth.org. Now I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Former Tiger, Memphis basketball legend Joey Dorsey is back in the NBA. Daily Memphian reported last night he's now a player development coach for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Big bet, Ben, I bet that makes you smile. Made me smile. Joey Dorsey working in the NBA.
I love it, man. One of my favorite players of all time. Actually, it's funny, like, I don't typically get too starstruck or anything when I come across, or even our guys, I just, you see him and say, hey,
Sure.
But that 2008 Memphis team, man, that just so many great memories. I was in school there at the time, and I loved that era so much. And I saw Joey, he was at one of the Grizzlies games this past season watching D-Rose, and I was like, man, I got to go say what's up to him. Even Kelsey made fun of me because she was sitting next to him, and she was like, wow, you were like a 12-year-old going to see.
Help me out here. How old were you in 2008?
Yeah, I would have been probably 19 or 20. Yeah.
Right. That's a good age.
Yeah.
Right. So I went to CBS in 2006. So my last year on the beat, the Tiger basketball beat for the Commercial Appeal, would have been the first of 4 straight Sweet 16s. It was that 2005-2006 season when they lost to UCLA in the Elite Eight out in Oakland as the 1 seed in the West Regional. It was what people mostly remember about that regional. It's a very famous regional. It is the one where UCLA stormed back in the closing seconds to beat Gonzaga. It's Adam Morrison's last game.
Yep.
as a Zag. He's on the court crying.
Yep.
Like he's on the court sitting there crying. That game happened before Memphis played its Sweet 16 game. I was in the building for that, but didn't see it. How about this? Because UCLA was down pretty big. It looked like Gonzaga had won the game, and it was going to be Memphis, Gonzaga in the Elite Eight. That's where we were headed. And I'm down in the media room it's the old Oracle Arena in Oakland where the Warriors played before they moved to San Francisco. And I just hear these roars, like these like something. You ever been, you clearly have, like in the, the media room or in the tunnels in FedEx Forum or any arena, and you're like, oh, wow, something's happening out there. Yeah, but I don't know. Like somebody just hit a big shot or somebody just did something. You started hearing that, and I was like, what is going on out there? And so then I walked out right at the end of it, and, there's Adam Morrison on the ground crying. It's a pretty memorable moment from NCAA tournament history, and the Tigers were in the building on that day. So that was my last day on the Tiger basketball beat, or at least the last game I covered. But obviously from there, Memphis basketball went on one of the great runs, not only in Memphis basketball history, because it's the greatest run in Memphis basketball history. It's one of the great runs in college basketball history.
Yeah.
I believe until they had to vacate stuff and whatever, like Antonio Anderson and those guys, Joey Dorsey would have been a part of this on some level. Like they won more games than any college players in history. And Joey was a big part of that. And I can just tell you, having first, learned about him at, I guess, Laurinburg, and visiting him when he was in high school, and then watching him come to Memphis. He comes from a hard place, man. He's from Baltimore, and the way it was always explained to me was like, do you watch The Wire? Sure. That's where he's from. That place. He knows those places. He knows those people. That's where he's from. It's hard to get out of there. And he uses basketball to give himself opportunities that he otherwise probably would not have had. That's what every coach in America tells young people to do. Use basketball to improve your life. Use basketball to break cycles of poverty, of anything. And not everybody does it. But Joey clearly did. And, we bump into each other every once in a while. Sometimes it'll be on, it's the streets downtown. I remember bumping into him one night down there, and it was just great to see him. This past season, he was in Atlanta. I was down there for the CBS Sports Classic. Kentucky was playing. He and Jeremy Hunt had traveled down together, I guess, just to see Cal. And I will give Cal some credit here. I know everybody in Memphis, or at least a lot of people in Memphis, feel a certain way about him. But I'm confident, without knowing the details, I'm confident Cal helped. Cal helped here, put in a phone call.
He was tweeting about it last night. That's
right. And so you never know where anybody's life is going to go. But, I see Joey on Instagram. Maybe this is the point I wanted to make. I see him on Instagram more than I see him in real life. Honestly, I see everybody on Instagram more than I see them in real life, outside of you probably. And everything's so posive, man.
Yeah.
He's always in the gym.
Grinding. Yes.
He's always working.
Yeah.
And then I see him like he's with his daughter, like he's being a father, like an active and involved father. And he's always working. He just seems to be taking care of himself and doing well.
Yep.
And you don't always know if that's how somebody's life is going to unfold. So not only when I see that story last night does it make me happy, it makes me proud. It really makes me sad sometimes when you hear other, I meet these people when they're young, and they have so much promising stuff in front of them. If you can just figure out how to grab it and take it. And often they do, sometimes they don't. And man, I tell you, when they don't, it just breaks your heart. You understand it. You understand why things were hard and life, was challenging. Most of or a lot of the young basketball players I meet, they're not growing up like my kids. They don't have a lot of the advantages that some other people have. And so you understand how sometimes things can go off the rails a little bit or become complicated. But I tell you, whenever it doesn't, and you get the good stories, those are the best. And I can't tell you, like, not only happy, but proud. Like, proud. Like, if I saw Joey today, that's what I'd tell him. Man, I'm really proud of you. I'm proud of what you've become and where you're at in your life right now. And, you know, it's not enough to just be a Memphis basketball legend or a former Tiger great or a notable college basketball alum. You know, they don't just give away NBA jobs. You've got to impress somebody. You've got to get in front of people and make them think that you can do what it is they're asking you to do. And Joey has clearly done that. So, you know, I don't know where it goes from here, but Joey Dorsey working, you know, in the NBA, all these years later after 2008, that's an awesome thing. So go read the story. Parth had it. It's dailymemphian.com.
Number 2.
Caitlin Clark had another ridiculous box score yesterday in what ended up being an 89-84 loss to the Washington Mystics. But she spent 38 minutes on the court, 7 of 14 from the field. Check out this stat line. You know, just a few days after becoming the first rookie in WNBA history to record a triple-double, Caitlin Clark yesterday, 29 points, 13 assists, 5 rebounds, 5 steals, 3 blocks. That's like outrageous. And I only bring this up because yesterday during GP's carryout, the What to Read thing, Jack Maloney was giving out midseason WNBA awards, and he had Asia Wilson as the MVP at this point. I don't guess anybody really argues against that. But you had a bone to pick with Jack Maloney. I asked you who you think's the WNBA Rookie of the Year right now. You went with Angel Reese. I told you Jack Maloney said it should be Caitlin Clark. You had a bone to pick with Jack Maloney. I did go and look in the betting markets, and this doesn't prove anything other than who's the favorite in the betting markets to be the WNBA Rookie of the Year. But if you were looking at that right now in the betting market, still, even though Angel Reese is on some kind of tear, she had another double-double yesterday. Caitlin Clark is the significant favorite to be the WNBA Rookie of the Year. You know that, don't you? You got to know that.
I figured as much, but I don't know if I agree.
It's fine. I will tell you, Angel Reese, I believe it was a 14th straight double-double. She's setting like yesterday was another awesome day in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark had that box score. I've already run you through that.
She also leads the league in rebounds.
She's great.
I mean, come on. For a rookie?
That's outrageous. She's been great. She's been great. So she had another double-double yesterday. Caitlin had that performance yesterday. Asia Wilson had her first 20-20 game of her professional career yesterday. Like, these women are delivering, Bennett.
Yeah, no doubt.
You don't have to be. There was a time as recently as last year, and I believe every other year in the history of the WNBA, where if you wanted to know what was going on in the WNBA, you know what you had to do? Follow the WNBA. You had to go out of your way to care. Otherwise, you just would not know. You might not even know the WNBA playoffs are starting tonight in previous years. Every year previously, unless you follow the WNBA. You ready for this?
Yep.
Go look last year on the day the WNBA playoffs started. Find our show. I bet we didn't talk about it at all. I bet the WNBA playoffs are starting tonight last year, and we didn't say a word about it. All right? We might not have even known it was happening. Now it's impossible to not know what's going on in the WNBA.
Right.
I mean, I don't know the projected playoff bracket and all that stuff yet, but you don't have to follow the WNBA to know what Caitlin Clark is doing, what Asia Wilson is doing, what Angel Reese is doing. You ready for this? You got to follow the NHL to know what's going on in the NHL. I have no idea on any day of the year. I have no idea what's going on in the NHL. You could ask me any day of the year, GP. I don't have any idea what's going on in the NHL because unless you follow it, you don't know. Major League Baseball. I mean, you'll get a Shohei thing and a Paul Skeens thing, but unless you follow it, it's hard. The WNBA is like getting to a different level, and it's mostly because of Caitlin Clark, but the other women are delivering. She's the key. She opens doors for everybody. She opens all the windows. Everybody look at this because Caitlin's in here. Everybody look. But when we look, you know what we're also seeing? Man, Angel Reese is awesome. Man, Asia Wilson is awesome. Like the league is changing in a pretty dramatic way very quickly. And it is the byproduct of these women who are supposed to be delivering. They're exceeding expectations. People call Asia Wilson the best player in the world, and she consistently goes out and looks exactly like that. People call Caitlin Clark this generational talent, and she is consistently going out and showing that. And Angel Reese entered the WNBA, professional basketball, with a certain level of celebrity, but it's not like she was the second pick in the draft,
right?
Or the third or the fourth or the fifth. There were some people wondering, like, what kind of player will she be in the WNBA? You know what kind of player she is?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. She's an awesome player in the WNBA. Good stuff for women's professional basketball. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for Joey Dorsey, and I'm happy for women.
As of right now, they both would make the playoffs, too.
How about that?
They're 7th and 8th. Had 8 teams make the WNBA playoffs. So as of right, Indiana's in 8th place and Chicago's 7th. So as of right now, both of them would be on playoff teams. That would be awesome. Because nobody thought that 2 weeks ago. That was even a possibility.
And a lot of the negative stuff that was there early in the season, like some of the veterans not really liking all of the attention Caitlin was getting, and then some of the, there seemed to be some animosity on some level between Angel and Kate. Like, a lot of that seems to be lessening as well. You see Diana Taurasi, like, put her arm around Caitlin and have a good moment with her in the game, and the veterans are starting to talk more positively about her. Angel Reese was talking yesterday and was like, it's going to be awesome to be in the All-Star game with Caitlin. I'm hoping we can both be in the Olympics together in 2028. Like, a lot of whatever the weird stuff that was there early this year, it seems to be lessening, and everybody seems to be really embracing this moment. It's a huge moment for women's basketball, and yesterday was a big day for women's basketball.
Number 3.
Barack Obama, former president, met with Team USA yesterday out in Las Vegas, and the video that went viral is just hilarious. I think we have it. Let's watch it. Barack Obama walking down the line, meeting Team USA. First some players, then some coaches. Let's look at it right now. What's up? What's up? What's up? Good to see you. Hello, sir.
Got my vote.
How are you? Good to see you, sir.
It really is the Key and Peele sketch. I mean, it is.
Does he do that? Do you think he does that on purpose?
No, I don't.
Or do you think that's just really when you see Kevin Durant, you dap one way, and when you see Mark Few, you dap another way?
I mean, I think there's a reason Key and Peele did that sketch, right? It made me laugh.
Sometimes
it also made me kind of sad. It also made me kind of sad. You know why? Because I try to go in with the dap at all times.
I think you have to.
I've been rejected. I try to go in with the dap though.
It can get you. I always go in, and when I dap, I'm typically dapping a basketball player. And my head, I dapped up Zach Edey Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? My head hit his belly button. I put my ear on his belly button.
Dude,
it's like I was trying to. I did one of these, and then I was like, I leaned in, and I was like, oh my God, I just put my ear on Zach Edey's belly button.
I mean, dude, his hands are so big. Like, I tried to dap him, and he was just like, like covered my whole hand.
I put my ear on Zach Edey's belly button. I didn't know if I was going to have to go to HR for that.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were going to call me down there and be like, you just can't be putting your ear on people's belly buttons.
Yeah.
But that's just where my ear went. I didn't mean to put my ear on his belly button. It's just I leaned in, and next thing I know, my ear's on Zach Edey's belly button. Weird place to have your ear.
The video did make me sad. I mean, if I was in that situation, I would hope that, President Obama would dap me up like he did.
He would treat you exactly like Mark Few. There's no change.
I know, dude. I know. That's why it hurt. Like, the video kind of hurt. I was like, damn.
If Barack
would be
Obama,
one of those losers.
Barack Obama, he'd see Kevin Durant, and then he'd see Devin Booker, and then he'd see you, and he would shake your hand like you're Mark Few. He'd be shocked you're not wearing a red hat.
Yeah, that's sad.
Isn't it nice to see a young-looking, vibrant former president?
Yeah, Right.
I like that. Too.
What's he doing? He's ran out his term limits.
He seemed aware of his surroundings the entire time. Didn't start bragging about his golf game for no reason whatsoever.
No. It was nice. It was nice.
It's nice to see an appropriately aged former president.
It really was. It really was.
I like it. The video, hilarious. The chat says it's intentional. I don't know if it's intentional. I think it's just, this is you see what you see and you act the way you act under these circumstances. And that was just a natural reaction for the president.
All I'm going to say is there's a reason Key and Peele did that skit.
You're right. You've lived through this. You've lived through this.
I've lived through this. Yeah.
You know what it's like. You know what
it hurts. I always try to go in with the DAP though. I want that to be acknowledged.
But you can't make people see you.
I know.
People see you and they see what they see. You know.
I know.
They don't know your heart. I don't think they know your heart.
I know.
Your heart wants to DAP, but your beard says you can't.
It says no. It says firm handshake, sir.
Yeah.
I know. I hate that.
If people could just see your heart wants to DAP, but your beard says this is just a straight white man handshake situation.
I need to get a T-shirt that says I'm down to DAP.
I'm down to DAP.
Yeah.
The chat, Lee says fist. I'm big on fist bumps.
I know you are.
And I love fist bumps because it takes all the uncertainty out of the situation. Because you have this half-second, three-quarter of a second situation as you're approaching somebody where you got to figure out, what are we doing? You know? Are we dapping? Are we hugging? Are we just doing a thing? And if you show the fist bump early, you got to show early, just like basketball, show early. If you show it early, it takes all the stress out of the situation. Everybody just knows, okay, this is a fist bump situation. That's fine. Okay, here, boom. It's not threatening. It's not like you're trying to be too cool. It's not like, oh, who's this old guy think he is out here trying to be too cool. Nobody thinks a fist bump's too cool. And it's also like you don't get into these weird, awkward, like, God, am I supposed to lean in here? What am I supposed to do with my hands? Yeah. I think the early fist bump that's the safest way to go.
It does seem the safest. It does seem the safest. I mean, nothing hurts my feelings more than when I come in with the hand cocked back, ready to DAP, and then the person's just like,
ugh. That means they're just looking at your beard.
I know.
You can't see nothing else.
I know, dude. It's hurtful, but it is what it is. There's nothing I can do.
I know there's nothing you could do, but that don't make it any less troubling. So I'm sorry you have to go through that sometimes.
It's okay. I've made it this far.
I know you've made it this far, but I'm sorry you had to go through that sometimes.
Thanks,
you know. Yeah, but we'll work on it. We'll figure it out.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Number 4.
Greg Berhalter, that loser, he's out as a coach of the United States men's national team. Loser. Well, he was a loser. He was, wasn't he?
I mean, they had some draws. Like, can you call him a loser? I think he just
a drawer. At best, he's a drawer. On his best day, he's a drawer.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
On his worst day, he's a loser. On his best day, he's a drawer.
Yeah, I think he's just disappointing.
He's just disappointing.
Yeah, that was a disappointing effort.
Remember, they tried to get him fired that one time.
I know.
They were like, hey, remember he beat up his wife 40 years ago?
What? I didn't know that. No, I don't remember that.
Oh, this was wild. So this fella, he's coaching, and apparently, like, he did something somebody didn't like, and they were like, oh, yeah, well, you should look into, when he was in college a million years ago. He's been married forever to this woman. And they were like, yeah, he roughed her up back in college. And he had to come out and say, like, yes, I did.
Oh, my God.
But we worked through it, and I'm paraphrasing here, but, like, he had to publicly acknowledge that he was physically violent with his wife a long time ago.
Okay.
But he survived it. They were like,
right.
They looked into it, and they were like, all right, well, yeah, that's not great. We'd have rather him not done that a long time ago, but we're going to let him keep coaching. And then he just kept drawing and losing, just drawing and losing, drawing and losing, drawing and losing. And now we got to – so they move on, and I was watching all the
I was watching all the breakdowns, the instant analysis.
I was watching last night too.
I was watching some instant analysis last night, and everybody says it's time to aim big. It's time to aim big.
Jurgen.
But not Klinsmann.
No, Klopp.
You want Klopp.
Yeah, not the old USA coach.
I
want Klopp.
When you say Jurgen, I think of Klinsmann.
No, dude.
Maybe I'm just old
He's
school.
been surpassed. He's been surpassed.
I know, but like, you know, when you say Elvis, I think of the original Elvis.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say Jurgen, I think of the original Jurgen. That's Jurgen Klinsmann. But that's not who they say. Either Jurgen Klopp, that's what you got to go do.
Yep.
Or Dan Hurley. What do you think? Dan Hurley or Jurgen Klopp?
Honestly, Dan Hurley, I don't think that would be the worst hire. I don't.
Did you see Dan Hurley?
He wins everywhere. He wins that. You know what do they say about Dan Hurley? He wins everywhere.
That is what they say about Dan Hurley. Did you see the quote where Dan Hurley said he thinks he would be a better football coach than basketball coach?
Oh yeah, because he can like scream.
Well, is this where you start to get a little out over your skis a little bit? You're so good at coaching one thing, you think you can coach anything?
I would take Dan Hurley if that got announced that he is leaving UConn to become the head coach of U.S. men's soccer. I would be like, that's actually not that bad of a hire. I kind of like it. I kind of like it.
I would hate it for UConn, but he would be inspiring at the very least. Tom Izzo went through this thing. Like right after I got the job at CBS, like I barely knew Tom at all. I'd maybe met him, but I didn't know him. And I think Michigan State was looking for a football coach.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like legitimate reports that Tom Izzo might be interested in trying to be the Michigan State football coach. And I was just like, just because you watch football doesn't mean you can coach it, does it? Like, Bennett, you've been watching football your whole life, just like Tom Izzo. Do you think you could coach football?
No.
Right. It's kind of a crazy thing. But Tom Izzo was like sincere. He thought he could do it. And Dan Hurley said the other day, I think he was at a Yankees game or something, being interviewed in the broadcast, and he said he thinks because of his personality and his intensity that the way he coaches would be more impactful in football than basketball. He thinks he could coach football. I wouldn't rule it out. Soccer, let him do it.
UConn football might as well let him do it if he wants if he wants to give it a shot.
Well, I mean, at this point, what could it hurt, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, Greg Berhalter's out. Not a day too soon. Couldn't have happened soon enough, far as I'm concerned. Yeah. He's out, and we'll see who they hire next. I wish him luck, because I'm tired of sucking at soccer. We've been doing this my whole life.
Number 5.
Oh, my bad.
Hey, it's fine. I was just, oh, man, this story broke my heart.
What's up?
You see this story, Sean Burrows?
No.
You know Sean Burrows. So Sean Burrows was once upon a time a Little League legend. He played for a Little League team, Little League World Series, out of Long Beach, California, and he won back-to-back Little League World Series. At one point in time, this is the way Sean Burrows was described. He was the best 11 or, say, 12-year-old pitcher in the world.
Okay.
And the best 11 or 12-year-old hitter in the world. Now, I don't know if that was actually true. How would you know such a thing? But he was certainly the most famous, most high-profile. He was awesome. Ended up in the major leagues, first-round pick, played professional baseball, and then just really spiraled, got knocked out of the league, and had a pretty heavy drug addiction and alcohol addiction, and his life just spiraled. He's out of baseball, bouncing around the streets of Las Vegas, motel to motel, as he described it once upon a time, whatever he could get his hands on. I don't think he ever put specific names on it, but certainly the implication was if Coke was there, then Coke was his drug of choice. If meth was there, meth was his drug of choice. Whatever you could put in front of him, you know, crack. His goal was to not be sober at any point. And so, I mean, there's a point where even his parents, nobody has any contact with him at all.
Mm-hmm.
For years at a time. And then he got clean. And he actually made it back to the big leagues after all of this, got clean, got back in baseball, and made it back to the major leagues. Incredible story. Very much like all these stories you hear about child actors who they get famous at a very young age. I mean, he was on David Letterman at 12 and actually hilarious on David Letterman at 12. I was watching the clips last night. This young man became very famous very young, like a child actor, and then struggled in the ways that often child actors do. Drew Barrymore, Justin Bieber in music, the list is long. But then he came out of it, He was like, got clean, got back in baseball, made it all the way back to the big leagues, and, it didn't end with a Hall of Fame induction or anything like that, but he had seemingly, gone through some awful stuff and came out the other side. Anyway, earlier this year, you might have heard, he died in a parking lot at a Little League field in California. You hear this? Little League legend, arguably the most famous Little League baseball player of all time, died in a parking lot of a Little League field. 43 years old. His son was playing in a game. He just dropped his son off.
Jeez.
And then he died in the parking lot. As the story goes, they thought it was weird. He wasn't at the game. They asked the son, "Where's your dad?" "He just dropped me off. Going to park the car." "Well, where is he?" They go looking in the parking lot. He's lying in the parking lot. He's dead. The initial reports, when we talked about this when it happened, was cardiac arrest. Man, Sean Burroughs, dead at 43, died of a heart attack. Autopsy report came back yesterday. Fentanyl. Died of a drug overdose in the parking lot of a Little League baseball facility, which suggests he's getting high at a Little League game. I mean, that's real drug addict stuff, drug addict, time and place isn't really a thing to drug addicts. You get high where you can get high. But isn't that just the saddest thing in the world?
Yeah, man. That's
like
awful.
43 years old at your kid's baseball game, getting high, presumably getting high in the parking lot, and then dying in the parking lot of a Little League facility. And so it's just, I guess, a reminder that even when you see somebody come out of the other side of something, man, it's a lifelong struggle. I don't want to say you're never safe from it, but so often you're not. And it's just, 43 years old that's very young.
Yeah.
And he had parents who loved him and a son who loved him. The 12-year-old son spoke at the memorial, I guess, before he knew what had led to his father's death, and was just like, "I had the best dad in the world." And that's all. You're a father. I don't know that anybody. I don't know how often your kids are going to say you're the best dad in the world, but that's got to be the goal, right?
Yep.
You'd like to hear it. And like, he had done enough, whatever his struggles were. He had done enough to leave his son with that impression. Man, my dad was the best dad in the world. I loved him so much. And, we now understand that he was struggling in some pretty undeniable ways, and ultimately it ended his life too soon. So there's a lot of lessons in there about understanding like nobody wants. I promise you, there ain't never been a 15-year-old in the world. You ask them what they want to do with their life, and they say, "I want to be blowing lines in the parking lot of a Little League facility at my son's baseball games." Like, that ain't nobody's goal. Nobody wants to end up like that. So when people do, you can safely assume things have gone the wrong way. Maybe, a little empathy can help. Nobody wants to end up like that. Beyond that, God, like, we've talked about this before, but I mean, you got to be careful out there. Here's another thing I don't think many drug addicts want to do is blow one line and end up dead.
Right.
But that's happening all over the country now because of fentanyl. And so, there are people, you think you're doing one thing, and next thing you know, it's something else, and it's intense, and it's deadly, and it's over for you. It's just, that seems to be
we'll never know for sure. I can't imagine Sean Burrows wanted to die in a parking lot. He just was an addict trying to get high, and he ingested the wrong thing. This very deadly thing that's taking people's lives every day in this country. So, I don't know. I just went back and read a lot about him last night. There were big profiles after he had recovered from his addiction initially and gotten back into the NFL, in Major League Baseball. And it was just like, this guy had been famous for most of his life. And I guess I just assumed when I read the initial reports that it was just like a heart attack and he was kind of a heavier guy. And, you know, I guess that does happen. But when you hear the toxicology report comes back yesterday and it was really just this guy who had struggled with addiction, but then, you know, seemed to get it under control at one point in his life, had clearly succumbed to it again. And, you know, I don't know. When I read that story yesterday, it made me sad. I don't know, you know, no matter what I read yesterday, it wasn't going to bring him back. But just knowing that he died that way, you know, whatever fight he was in for most of his life, I guess some of us were operating under the assumption that he had put that battle behind him. And I guess we found out yesterday that that's a little harder sometimes than you might think. Be back with GP's Carryout.
Mike did his favorite black films of all time. Mike, where we at?
If there's one movie I know every single line to, it is Coming to America.
There we go.
It is Coming to America. It can come on any time of any day, and I'm going to stop and watch at least 20 minutes of it.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
I think we have the college basketball title futures. UConn's #1.
I really like Houston. I'd have them winning it all, but you can't be giving Drake jerseys. What is wrong with you?
Maybe the Drake curse is stronger in college basketball.
How long has he been riding with Kentucky?
He wore an Alabama jersey and Saban retired.
The Odds Couple with Rob Fisher, Lang Whitaker, John Roser, and CJ Hurt live Thursdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
A movie called Crossover. It's a basketball movie, but I think it's the top 3 worst basketball movies I've ever watched in my life.
Anthony Mackie.
Yes.
Wayne Brady.
Yes. And Hot Sauce. Hot Sauce.
Oh my God.
Did you ever consider that I'm about to watch a movie where one of the actors is Hot Sauce and think this is probably not the best idea?
The Chris Vernon Show, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Now for a limited time, the new $1.99 crispy tender wraps are here at Sonic. Who could deny a crispy chicken tender with bold flavors like hickory barbecue and cheesy Baja? And we can't forget the crisp lettuce and melty cheese to make the perfect bite. Wrap yourself up with some TLC, tender, love, and chicken for only $1.99. Sonic $1.99 crispy tender wraps. Tax not included, limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. Let's wrap it up. GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
Whole bunch of stuff, but we mostly focused on the NBA because Summer League basketball continues in this great country of ours. Salt Lake City, that's where the Grizzlies were the past 3 nights. But now they're in Las Vegas. Tomorrow, starting the Vegas Summer League, 5 o'clock tip, 4:30 pregame on that Grind City Media app. Hey, I noticed this. Did you see this email we got about all the Grind City Media app been rocking and rolling over the past few days? You know what that suggests, Big Ben? It suggests, you know what it suggests to me?
What?
You know what it suggests to me? People so badly just want to care about the Grizzlies again.
Oh, dude, no question.
And Zach Edey has given folks a reason to believe he's now the favorite to win Rookie of the Year. And after experiencing what we experienced over the past year, suspension, injury, loss after loss after loss, it's just nice to have something nice to care about again. And even though it's July, when folks should be, at the pool or at the beach or in the yard or whatever, you know what people are doing? Maybe all that stuff, but also getting on their phones and their iPads and their computers and their Apple TVs and their Rokus and their Grind City Media app and Grizzlies basketball in these hot summer months. That's encouraging, Ben.
I love it. I'm dialed in as well. I've been in the chat getting silly. There's a nice little chat feature, by the way, in that if you watch the game.
I almost jumped in the chat. The other night.
But it's
I'm always thinking about getting in the chat, but I never know what to do in there. I don't even know what I would say.
You got a show to host, man.
What do you think I should say? You think I should just say something every once in a while?
Sure. It'd be nice. It'd be nice to have your presence.
Okay. This is my presence.
Make it count.
The chat. I now have a presence in the chat.
Good.
I got a presence in the chat.
Excellent. I see you there.
Thank you. It's good to be there. Hey, people are excited. People are fired up.
I'm excited.
The Grind City Media app is a direct reflection of that. And so we'll see how things go out in Las Vegas starting tomorrow.
What's today's biggest game?
Oh, you know what today is, Bennett? Do you know what today is?
What?
You know what they call today? Paul Skeens Day. Today's Paul Skeens Day.
Is. Yeah, okay.
It's Paul Skeens Day. We're in Milwaukee. Pirates and Brewers. It's afternoon baseball. 1:10 first pitch at American Family Field in Milwaukee. On the mound for the Pirates, the rookie sensation Paul Skeens. 5-0, a 2.12 ERA. Pirates are minus 125 on the money line. The Brewers are plus 105. You ain't picking against Paul Skeens, are you?
I kind of want to.
You want? No.
You know why? You know why I want to?
Because you're a hater.
No, because I was looking at FanDuel and the boost is it's like Paul Skeens to have 8 strikeouts and it's like really good odds. And I'm just like, why are they gifting this? Why are they gifting this to people? That's why I'm a little nervous. I mean, Brewers are top of the division.
54-39.
It's in Milwaukee, right?
Yes, at American Family Field. And yet they find themselves as home underdogs. That's the Paul Skeens effect.
What's Paul doing? Okay, hold up now. What's Paul doing on the road? Can we get road stats? Let me see if I can.
He's throwing a 102 and striking everybody out on the road, at home.
So it doesn't matter.
No, nothing matters.
I remember when they gave him that ovation in St. Louis, the greatest baseball fans. Yeah.
They're the greatest baseball fans in the world.
That's what they call themselves.
They recognized greatness when they saw it. They gave Paul Skeens a standing ovation, even at the expense of their hometown Cardinals. Paul Skeens, he's a real deal. Why wouldn't you want to root for Paul Skeens? Why wouldn't you want him to improve to 6-0 and get his ERA below 2, and then establish himself as the clear, obvious starter for the National League in the 2024 All-Star Game? Well, you'd be rooting for all of that stuff.
You know what? I don't care. Give me the Brewers.
It's Livy Dunn's boyfriend. What are you doing?
Okay, so he's just gonna have a perfect record this season?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No,
yes,
he is not.
Yes, he is.
No, he loses today.
Paul Skeens, man, we gotta.
I told you, dude. I don't want to say because I messed up saying there was funny business yesterday. When in reality, if Zach Edey would have played in that Grizzlies game yesterday, they would have won by 1,000,000 points. Okay.
1 million.
Yes.
1 million.
So whatever. Like fine. We didn't know what the injuries were going to be. Whatever. This feels like funny business because of that little boost I was telling you about that I saw on Fame. Why are they giving this to us? Why are they gifting this? That's why I'm skeptical.
Paul Skeens 2 years ago was just a dude at Air Force. He was a dude at the Air Force Academy. Fast forward 2 years, he's a national champion at LSU, #1 pick in the draft, phenom in the big leagues, dating Livy Dunn. Whose life has gotten better over a 2-year span more than that? Is Paul Skeens living the best life of any of us? Who has a better life than Paul Skeens
the
right now?
Hawk Tua girls are doing pretty well.
She's doing good. She's doing great. You know, in a different world.
In a different world. I mean, I saw they had a big party for her yesterday.
In a different world, we connect them two. You know, we put them two together. I saw Hawk Tua girl. She got her a Rolling Stone profile. Did you see that?
Oh man, is the end near?
I hope so.
I used to be a Rolling Stone subscriber.
Me too.
Now they're doing profiles on the Hawk Tua girl.
Yep.
Yeah. Paul Skeens is doing great.
Yeah, I mean, who's having a better run than Paul Skeens? Like I mean, like in the whole world.
I think he's on top, but you know what? That ends this afternoon in Milwaukee. Brewer down, or what do we say it? What's the Brewers chant? Drink up.
Drink up, maybe. Should be.
Isn't it like brewery? Is it like brewing beer?
Well, of course.
It can't be. Is it? Yeah, because Milwaukee, that's the beer capital. Yeah.
You're just figuring this out?
No, I knew that. I was just like, wow, their whole franchise is built around beer. That's cool.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to root against Paul Skeens, fine. But, you know, like the guy has been winning on and off the field nonstop for at least 2 years. I would never pick against him. But you could do whatever you want.
Drink up.
Drink up. Then it says drink up.
What are we watching on TV?
Hey, can I interest you in Receiver on Netflix? That dropped Receiver.
Is this a sports thing?
Yeah, it's a sports thing. It's a documentary about receivers. Remember how they did Quarterback on Netflix? And that was like, Tua or whoever it was.
It was Patrick Mahomes on it? I didn't watch it. Kirk Cousins, I believe.
Kirk Cousins was on it.
Yep.
Right?
I didn't watch it. I think Marcus was on it too. I think Marcus Mariota was on it.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just making things up. I don't know who was in it. But now they got Receiver, and I know who's in it. Devontae Adams.
Okay.
Deebo Samuel.
Okay.
Who's receiver? George Kittle, I think's in it. Maybe.
He's not a receiver.
Well, I saw there's a clip of him talking. He's in it. I mean, he's in it.
Well, he might be talking to Deebo.
He might be just talking to somebody else. But I saw a clip. That's the clip going around. George Kittle talking to somebody. I don't know. Anyway, you going to watch it? You interested in it?
I might watch it. I'll be honest. I don't tend to dive too much into the Netflix sports stuff. Like the only thing I've ever watched sports related on Netflix is Last Chance U, and I think they're done with that. Or I don't know. Maybe it got silly. I don't know.
I watched the golf one, first Full Swing, and even as a golf fan, I thought it was boring.
Yeah,
and I'm a golf fan. Like if I'm a golf fan, like if I'm the guy watching your golf documentary and going, "This is not great,"
this sucks.
Yeah, but then good luck getting anybody else to care about it.
I know everyone likes the F1 thing.
I gather season 2 was better than season 1.
Yeah.
Everybody loves the F1 thing. Everybody loves that. I never watched it, but everybody loves it.
Oh, maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe I'll give it a shot. I like receivers.
I do. I mean, if you got to throw a ball, that's where you typically, you're going to want to throw it to one of them. So they hold a special place in my heart as well. Receivers do.
Me too.
So you can find that. It dropped yesterday, I believe, Netflix.com.
What's the best thing we've read?
So I told you I went back, last night after that news was reported about Sean Burrows. And I just started reading about, I don't know, my mind works like that. I'd latch onto things. And then the next thing you know, I've been reading about Sean Burrows for an hour. All right. It's not the best use of my time. But I found a story from Jim Capel. Boy, you want to get real sad? Guess who's also dead? Jim Capel.
Damn.
Anyway, it's Jim Capel, 2011 story, June 29, 2011, at ESPN.com about Sean Burrows getting clean and getting back to the major leagues. And it tells a lot of the story that I told you earlier about how you go from
being a little league legend to a first-round draft pick to a big leaguer to a drug addict to homeless to back in the big leagues. And it was at that moment when it was written, 2011, an incredibly positive story. Reads a little differently in 2024, given that we know he died earlier this year of a drug addiction. But if you're interested in the story, just Google Jim Capel, ESPN.com, 2011, Sean Burrows. The headline, Sean Burrows focusing on the positive. You can find it with a quick Google search.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow's Friday. Be getting ready for the weekend. Get ready for more Grizz Summer League. Jessica Benson will join me in the opening hour. I'll be in North Augusta, South Carolina.
Okay.
At the Peach Jam. I'm flying there this afternoon. So Team Thad will be there. I'll get a look at them this weekend. Gonna be there. Flying today. Be in the gym tomorrow. But before that, I'll talk to you presumably from a Marriott property in the area. Can't wait. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm gonna enjoy mine. We'll meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.